Good afternoon, everybody. It is Tuesday, and I just got done work, and it's been a couple of days again since I've made a video, so wanted to get one out here. One thing I wanted to share with everybody is I recently finished reading a book. It's a biography of a man named Robert Morris. Robert Morris was one of America's founding fathers, and he was the man that was primarily responsible for coming up with the money to pay for the American Revolution. And it's taken me most of this year to read that book, mainly because I've just been really busy with work and stuff, and I don't have the time available to commit to reading like I have in years past, which is kind of a bummer because I love to read. It's one of my favorite things, and it's something I look forward into getting back into on a larger scale as Hex becomes more valuable and I'm able to buy back more of my time from the world. And so anyway, as I was finishing this book, I was thinking of how interesting it would be if Hex appreciated in price to the point that I could finance a revolution. Wouldn't that be interesting? You know, of all the things to buy, you know, people talk about wanting to get Lambos and stuff like that. And I thought, how about paying for a revolution? That'd be really cool. The Hexican Revolution. But at the same time, the kind of revolution that I'm about is not the same as revolutions in times past. The American Revolution, contrary to popular belief, was mainly about property. If you ask the average American what the American Revolution was about, they'll say it was about being free and getting freedom from England and all that stuff. And, you know, without property, you're not really free, because if you're somebody else's property, you're not free. And that was the problem with the American colonies. They were the property of England. And, you know, as long as people are unwilling to look at this subject of property for what it is and have a real discussion about it, you know, freedom is only going to be an ideology, as long as that's the case. So, and speaking of property, it was interesting as I was getting to the end of the book. Another thing that was being brought out by the author was, you know, after the Constitution was written, you know, people had to come to an agreement as to where the capital would be located. And, you know, one person suggested one place because of its access to waterways, which would make the capital more accessible to westward expansion and people being able to transport themselves back and forth across the continent. And, you know, another person suggested that it be located somewhere else because of its location to the coast and being, you know, kind of a hub of international trade and diplomacy and all that stuff. And the author was making the point that different people wanted the capital in different locations, mostly because they own property in that location and they wanted the capital to be on their property. I got a kick out of that because it just shows the underlying self-interest of human beings. You know, people can put up a really good sales pitch of why they want to do something, but in most cases, underneath of it all is their own self-interests. So it was kind of amusing to see that. So if you can't tell, I'm in the parking lot of a grocery store. But anyway, we'll see how commerce continues here in Arizona, because I had read this morning that the governor here has signed an executive order basically locking down the state except for essential business. That's supposed to go into effect about now, 5 p.m. our time here. So we'll see how that affects everybody else. For the most part, everything has remained open up until this time. I mean, there are restrictions on dine-ins and stuff like that, and I noticed that the place where I usually get my hair cut is closed until further notice. So maybe I'll go back to the days when I was back in high school and following the dead, and I had hair down past my shoulders and stuff. I really don't want to wait that long. I might even consider just cutting my own hair at that point, because I don't like having long hair. It's not like I was when I was a teenager. So anyway, just wanted to share a couple of things with everybody, and haven't given any shout outs in a while, but I do want to give a shout out to somebody that goes by the title of 10 Alexa 10 in the Telegram chat rooms. Your charts are awesome. They are the best charts I've ever seen, like ever, for like anything regarding cryptocurrency. I love it. Keep them up. They are awesome. I love posting them on my Facebook page, and I love posting them as responses to different things people post on Twitter about different cryptos. You know, what's your favorite crypto, blah, blah, blah. I love just popping one of them in there, and it speaks for itself. It's so awesome. So if anybody is not familiar with this individual, I recommend you go on Telegram, go into the Hex chat room, go into the Hex memes chat room, and just do a search for 10 Alexa 10. That individual, I don't know if it's a guy or a girl, whatever, they are just putting together some top-notch information in chart form, and it's awesome. So, and, you know, since I mentioned how much I love reading, I'm now presently reading a book called The Body Electric, which I'm looking very forward to getting into. I just started it. I'm on the second chapter. It's basically a book talking about the forces of electromagnetism operating inside the human body and the role that that plays in health maintenance. And, you know, I found this book several months ago in a Goodwill store, and it was required reading for a certificate in the correspondence course that I've been taking on naturopathic medicine. For one of the other certificates, that's one of the books. So I'm glad that I came across it, and looking forward to getting into it even more. So far, it's talking about the one chapter that I just finished was talking about the regenerative process in salamanders and how they're able to grow back limbs. And it's just, you know, it's going to be a great book. And also, if you noticed, I'm not wearing my blue jacket because it's finally starting to warm up here. I don't have to wear 2 jackets when I go to work. Of course, I did when I left this morning, but by the time I got there, I was able to disrobe at least one, and finally the second one by the end of the day. So this is what I look like wearing other colors besides blue, even though I'm wearing a blue shirt underneath, but that's the company shirt, so it just worked out that way. But anyway, I hope you all are having very good days, and hopefully things will work out for me to make my videos a little more frequently. I would like to do that more. So anyway, Have a good night. Be well. Be smart about this. Don't be silly with this coronavirus thing. I was watching a video that Richard had posted from a doctor in Texas talking about this subject, and you know, when it first started being talked about, I personally wasn't too concerned about it, just because I don't mean to brag, but I'm a healthier than average person. But at the same time, in the past week or so, I really see that this thing can be really devastating to most people, and I don't want to see that happen to anybody. So be mindful of your own needs. Don't be cocky. So anyway, have a good night, everybody. Talk to you soon. Bye.